Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to make something that's inspired by my holiday. So I'm currently sat in my hotel room in Orlando doing this voiceover for the video. Now while I've been here, I'm a big sucker for merchandise and I've been buying some Mickey and Minnie ears. And this video is really inspired by the ears that I've seen over here, especially this pair that I got from Crafti Franki. And I just love these ears and how they're see-through with all these fancy little bits in the middle. And do pop over and have a look at her page as well. I'll put links in the description box below to where you can get her ears from. So I'm going to start by decorating a cupcake. So I'm going to do cupcakes and cakes, I think. I'll just do a couple of cupcakes. So I've got some fondant and I'm using a pre-coloured yellow one. I'll put links in the description box below to what I've used in the video as well. And I'm placing it on top of a foam dome. So it's just a large cookie cutter in round and then on top of a foam dome. With the Mickey and Minnie ears, you can either make them by hand or on this particular one, I'm just going to use a lolly that's pre-made. So a sweet lolly or candy lolly. Because it's the colours I want, it saves me making it and they're nice and easy to eat afterwards. And I'm just going to make the little bow in the middle. So this one's going to go with some ears that I'd actually seen in the Disney shop. So I've got a ball for the middle of my bow. Now, normally I would use modelling paste for this, and I thought I'd try some fondant mixed with some Tylose, but I've just added a tiny bit too much Tylose to the fondant, so it's cracking a little bit when I'm trying to work with it. But we kind of squeeze the two halves of our bow, so we kind of cut a squiggly line for the outside edge, and then we squeeze together the inside line. And where I've squeezed it together, I push it in the hole of my bow. And then I've got some white fondant. Try and roll it as thin as you can. And we're going to cut out like a little sort of paint splat effect, which is going to look like icing that's going to sit on top of our foam dome. So this yellow is still in that foam dome. We're just going to push our bow onto the top. I stuck it using a bit of water, but you can use edible glue. And let's use an assortment now of sprinkles. So I'm just sticking these on with a bit of water. And you can use any sprinkles that you like. Go for colours that you really like. And I'm going to put a little bit of buttercream on top of my cupcake. Now, I haven't showed you guys because obviously you don't want to wait as long as I've waited for the top. But I've actually left the fondant overnight to dry a little bit so it's firmed up before I add it to the cupcake. So the buttercream just fills the gap under the yellow dome. And then we're going to push into our cupcake the ears, which are our pre-made lollipop sticks. If they're a little bit long, you can take them out and cut them down a bit on the sticks. Like so. Now it is important that you let that yellow fondant firm up a little bit, otherwise it'd be too soft and the lollipops will tear through. So for this next one, we're going to make the ears. So instead of using lollipops, but you can use lollipops still if you prefer, we're going to kind of make our own. Now you don't want to just use fondant because it's not going to dry hard enough, so I've mixed in some pastelage powder with it to firm them up, and we've just cut out two circles, the pale pink ones, and we've inserted a lollipop stick into each one. Now we want a glittery effect, so I'm going to use these CK glitter squares. Now they're not quite the colour I want, so I've just popped in a little bit of pale pink dust and we're going to shake them together so it takes on the colour. And these are edible, these ones. The ears are going to set pretty hard though, so you might find that you don't actually want to eat them. More just for decoration. So I'm going to cover them in piping gel. Again, I'll put links below. You can use edible glue or piping gel. They both do the same thing, make it sticky. And then we're going to sprinkle the glitter squares over the ears. If they're a bit soft, let the ears harden before you add these glitter squares. While they're hardening a bit more, I'm just going to make the bow for the cake. So I'm going to cut out a big rectangle. Now this paste is still made out of the same stuff as the ears and it's starting to dry and crack a little bit. So I'm going to have to try and cover that up later if I can. We've kind of folded the bow or the rectangle in the middle, and then we're going to add a little rectangle over the middle of the bow, like so. Would look nicer if I hadn't made it crack. This one we're going to use some pink pearls. Again, these are edible. They're quite hard. I probably wouldn't eat this bit, but it is all edible should you really want to eat it, but you might break your teeth. So I've stuck these on again with piping gel. I'm just going to try and leave them to dry a bit before I sort of roll off any extra. I've already covered this cake for you guys. And I'm just going to add a luster to it. So it's pale pink with a luster spray. And then let's put a chocolate drip over the top. You can buy the chocolate drip pre-coloured or you can colour your own. Again, I'll put links in the description box below where you can get this from, but we do sell the pre-coloured chocolate drip. Then we're going to push the ears in. Very carefully, just make sure those ears have dried and set. And the same with the bow. And you push it on. Now, I kind of wandered around for 10 minutes before I put the bow on, but ideally put it on while the chocolate's still wet. And again, these ones are based on some ears I saw in Disney. Okay, so the first one that I did with cupcakes, I think I'd like to make a bigger version in cake. So we're going to make a bigger version of that bow. So I've rolled out some pink. Again, use some modeling paste or fondant with Tylose. I've tried the fondant with Tylose again. Like I said, those of you that watch me will know I don't often use the fondant with Tylose, and I have put too much in, so it is cracking a little bit. We're just kind of folding those bows in the middle, and let's push that big bit together. Now, I've rolled the bowl for the middle. I'm going to cut a little section out the back so it just slots over the front of that chunky bit there. I'm going to leave that to dry. And just like we did with our other cake, we're going to add some chocolate drip. So this time I've iced my cake bright pink. And this one we're going to use the pre-made lollies. Put white chocolate drip on the top. And we're just going to push in those lollies. Hold them for a second if you need to while they set in the chocolate. And I'm going to use some sprinkles. Again, I've just got a random assortment. There's all different ones that I've got in here. Some of the bigger ones I'll have to push on one at a time. And then we're going to put a pink bow on the top. Now, I have let the pink bow set. So I did make the pink bow in advance of making the cake. And you can see it looks nice in different colours. So this is just to show you guys adding the smaller lollipops in for ears on the cupcakes. I like this one because I think it's nice and bright. I could have maybe tidied up the back of the bow a little bit more on the big cake. So remember, guys, this is just to give you a few ideas of what you can do now. This one is for my favourite set of ears. So I'm going to roll a thin strip of white and red. And this is modelling paste that I'm using. We're going to try and roll that out and cut some little sections off so that it looks like a little swirl inside. I don't know how well you guys can see that. And you can do this in whatever colours you want. Now this is me trying to make some little sequins. So you can just use pre-made sequins, which is much, much quicker. But I thought, oh, I'll try and have a go at making some myself. I did find that I squashed them quite a bit. And it was quite time consuming to do it this way. And I tried to get hold of some Minnie and Mickey sprinkles, but I couldn't get hold of them in the UK. And I couldn't find them in the shops over in Florida either. Okay, so we've rolled a few pieces together, cut them in half, so we'll try this to see what this one looks like. It's okay. This one didn't turn out quite as well as I wanted. But again, you can do it in different colours, play around. And so let's try and make those Mickey and Minnie ones. So let's go with 3 little balls that we've squashed flat. Let's see if we can stick them together to make a little Mickey ear. Okay, now, because these ones I'm going to make the lollies by hand, I bought a silicone mould for the lollies. And these ones, I want them to be quite clear looking. So I'm going to try a few different designs because I've got plenty of space in this tray. So I've added some pre-made sprinkles and then also those ones that I made myself. And we're going to add a little lolly stick in the end of each one. Let's try different sprinkles in all of these, see what they look like. And these really were inspired by those Crafti Franki ears that I bought. I just loved them so much. And I took the sticks out the other ones because I decided I'd try some with sticks in them, some without. And I'm going to use some isomalt. Okay, now you can tell I don't use isomalt often because I forgot to put on gloves. So don't just use isomalt without gloves. And I heated it in the microwave. It is very hot, so I really should have been using heat-proof gloves. Now, the one I've got here is pre-dyed pink, and I just added a bit of like a luster powder. Again, it's edible, and pour in, okay? It is very hot. I know you can't tell on the video, but it is really hot as the isomalt, so be really careful. I've got some white isomalt. Now, if you don't have the isomalt, you can just buy, the boiled sweets that you get, and then you could get those in different colors as well. So by adding some of the sort of clear isomalt, I'm hoping it's made it a little bit more see-through for those middle ones. And then I'm just using the clear isomalt on its own for the end ones where my little sequins are in. Now, whilst that's setting, let's make a bow. So we're going to go with not quite a rectangle-ish that's rounded at either end, and then we're kind of folding it together in the middle. And we're going to roll a little strip around the middle of our bow again. And you guys will have seen me make lots of bows in this video by now, so you'll be fine with the bow making. Again, I've just covered it in some piping gel to make it sticky, and I'm using a different type of edible sprinkle. These ones are like little sequins, edible sequins. They're heart-shaped. Again, I'm going to make another bow. This time again in pink, but we're going to add colour. So my sequin one's just to one side drying. This one's going to go with my see-through ears. So we've got purple at one side, turquoise at the other, and a bit of yellow in the middle. And this is just edible powder. We're going to let that set a little bit. Okay, so while I've made those, these lollies have been drying. So let's just pop them out the mould. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. They're nice and shiny on the back, but it's not quite see-through enough to see the sprinkles on that one. Whereas these clear ones, these came out well. And these are to match my Crafti Franki ears that I've got. So this time I'm going to put these on mini cakes because my lollipop mould's quite small. So let's put chocolate drip on my cake again. It's just a pink fondant covered cake, this one. And you'll see I actually made quite a few different little ears. So these ones don't have lolly sticks in, so I have to hold them in place a little bit until they've set. So these ones again are based on another set of ears. These ones by Crafti Franki. Let's put our sprinkles on. I've also put some chocolate drip on the ears as well on this one. And let's put that little sequin bow in the middle. So I've done exactly the same again with this one. So these are the ones that don't have sticks, and I'm using the other bow on this one. Okay, so I'm not going to use all those ears that I made, but I have got them there for if I decide I want to put them on a different cake at any point. Now the ice malt does go sticky once it's sort of in the air a little while. So to prevent that, either keep them airtight until you need them, or you can spray them in an edible glaze. So I hope that gives you all a few ideas. I just loved all the ears while I'm here in Florida, and I really wanted to have a go at making something that was similar to the ears. And thank you so much to Crafti Franki for the ears. They are amazing ears. If you've had a go at making some Minnie and Mickey ears, why not send us some pictures? We do like to see your work. And you can send us it on Facebook or Instagram. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and more.